Hi and welcome to rewirethemind.com, the channel for everything related to wellness, well-being, therapy and mental health. Now today we want to talk about ear piercing for anxiety. It's not something we personally use in our clinics, but we do know it's becoming increasingly popular as a way of helping with mental health. Placing piercings in certain sections of your ears is supposed to help with everything from migraines to anxiety and stress. So we thought we'd have a look at what piercings you should be looking at if you want to help your anxiety related issues. But before we start to talk about the placings of the piercings themselves, how does piercing your ears help with anxiety? Well, if you've heard of acupuncture, then you'll know that the placement of needles in certain areas of the body is supposed to help manage your body's balance and energy. Now, when this flow of energy or chi is interrupted or imbalanced, it creates illnesses and problems. But when it's flowing well, those issues supposedly disappear. By using ear piercings in place of traditional acupuncture needles, the same energy points are being stimulated, allowing the body's energy or chi to be brought back into balance. If this is done in certain locations in the ear, it's supposed to have a positive impact on anxiety reduction. Whilst ear piercing is one way to get anxiety relief, you can also use other methods, which is what we do. And you can get our free guide to help you reduce your anxiety naturally on our website and other resources that we'll talk about later. Now, instead of a traditional earring, which is normally on the lobe, ear piercings for anxiety tend to place the earring in slightly different positions to help with this anxiety or mental health issues. The first of these is known as a Daith piercing, and that's when the earring is placed in the innermost cartilage of the ear, and you can see that on the illustration here. This area is supposed to help with anxiety and migraines. It's not a traditional area where a normal jeweler may place a piercing, so you will need to go to a specialist piercing parlour if you want any of these done. And you should also note that the unusual positioning of the piercing means that it might take a little bit longer to heal than a normal piercing. You're likely to need also a hoop style of earring or a barbell because of the thickness of that cartilage. We also have a Rook piercing, and that particular piercing is in the cartilage fold, which is just below the rim of the ear, and you can see again in our picture where that's located. This doesn't necessarily help with headaches or migraines like the Daith piercing, but it is supposed to be helpful for anxiety. We also have a Shen piercing. You can't see that on this particular illustration, but this is a piercing which is placed in the centre of the cartilage at the top of your ear. This does help with anxiety and headaches and is even supposed to help with your immunity. The word Shen is actually translated as divine gate. So think of this as an area where energy flows together in the body, and by using a piercing here, it's going to help that energy flowing well. And finally, there is also the tragus piercing, which you can see here. And this is an area of cartilage just in front of the ear canal itself. Tragus piercings actually cover a multitude of problems as well as anxiety. It's also supposed to help with headaches, weight loss and appetite. So if your issues with anxiety relate to food and eating, then that might be a good spot for you to use. If you have general anxiety, then the Daith is probably better for you. Now, of course, ear piercing, while not expensive, is relatively permanent and does come with some risk to your health, especially if you get an infection, which you're going to be more prone to if you're piercing these more unusual areas. So while some people love the ideas of piercing, they aren't for everyone, which is why ear beads for anxiety can be another way of getting similar results without such an invasive treatment. Ear beads or ear seeds for anxiety work in a similar manner to the piercings, as they stimulate acupressure points. However, rather than piercing the ear, you can place the ear seeds directly on the relevant area of the ear to help with everything from anxiety to insomnia, depression, or even addiction. Ear seed therapy has been around for years, and it's a great way of using acupressure without actually piercing the skin. You can place some ear seeds which can be bought online just with some tweezers onto the areas that you need. Each ear seed has a sticky back, so it can be stuck to the ear. You just remove the backing, get the tweezers and put it into place. Make sure you press it firmly so that it's stuck down, and then you can press that area with your fingers a number of times a day to stimulate the pressure point and get the results you want. Ear seeds will of course eventually fall off, but that isn't a problem because you can purchase them in quite large packs and continue to replace them until you've completed whatever purpose you need. On our website, we've got some details of some of the major ear seed kits that you can use if it's something that you're interested in. If you're wondering exactly where to place the ear seeds, then this illustration can help, and that shows you all the relevant reflexology points on the ear that you can use. When it comes to anxiety, you can stick to placing the seeds on the Shen, tragus, Daith, or other areas like that in order to help with anxiety reduction. So do ear piercings or beads for anxiety actually work? Well, the reality is the studies are a little bit inconclusive and scant at this point. And whilst these forms of treatment are relatively cheap, there's still some doubts on their effectiveness, even though we do know there has been a study on nursing students in Taiwan that did show that they were helped with acupressure seeds with anxiety-related problems. But there are other ways to help anxiety, and that's what we use with our clients. If you hop on over to our website, you'll see we have all kinds of tools that can help with lowering anxiety. Everything from an online anxiety course with videos to guide you through to lower anxiety, to hypnosis downloads, and even anxiety trackers / journals that can help you manage everything from stress to lowering that anxiety. If you just go over to rewirethemind.com and visit our website, there are tons of tips, blogs, information and resources that can help to improve your well-being. Remember, anxiety isn't just about mental health, it's about lifestyle as well. And improving your general wellness and well-being can do wonders for your mental health. Have a look and see some of our resources, and hopefully they'll help you feel better and feel more empowered and enabled to tackle that anxiety of yours.